Welcome to Counselors in Cars Getting Coffee Quarantine Edition. That's where I get my coffee. Woo! Yeah, but it's closed. No coffee today. So here we are, Counselors in Cars in the park, quarantine edition. We are outside. It is beautiful, and we wanted to connect with you about this important quarantine time, this COVID situation. And as many of you may know, I'm Dr. Rahman. I integrate positive psychology and spirituality to create unique approaches to wellness for you. And right now, during this time, I have been keeping busy with classes online, Zoom meditation classes, positive thinking activities, all kinds of things which you can find on my website or linked below. And these classes are amazing. People are finding that they're smiling for the first time all day. They're connecting with others. They're learning new meditation techniques and positive thinking and manifestation techniques. So that has been just an amazing expansion for me during this time, as well as the usual writing of books, creating videos for you, and doing all sorts of blogs and wonderful things. So please check out my work. But meanwhile, I have a guest here today. Chaplain Issa Kabeer is back, and he has been in the front lines during this COVID time, dealing with patients in the local hospitals here in Philadelphia. So I would love to hear from you, Chaplain Issa, about what has this time been like for you?
Well, one thing I'd like to share is these classes that Dr. Rahman Beckwith is presenting are amazing.
Thank you.
Not only are you going to have a great meditation, not only are you going to have a great learning, but also you're going to have a community. You're going to get to meet lots of cool people from around the world. So check those classes out.
Thank you. Chaplain Issa has stopped by and he gives his approval, so thank you for that.
So yes, I do work at the hospital, and it's a very intense experience. I've seen people pass away. There's a lot of pain, there's a lot of trauma, but it's kind of a wake-up call for all of us. It's a time of having awareness, and in order to do that, we kind of have to understand what's actually going on. So in order to engage really our own internal struggles, our own internal pain, we have to realize that there's this kind of a modality, and I think Buddhism has a really great modality that it lays out. In the modality, there are 4 noble truths. The first one is dukkha. Dukkha means suffering. Wow, that doesn't sound really good, does it? Suffering? Ugh, I don't want to think about suffering. But that's not all. There's more to it. The second is samudaya. Samudaya means there's an origin to the suffering. So to know there's a problem, we got to realize there's a place where this problem started. Then you have nirodha. Nirodha means cessation of suffering. That means that suffering can end. It's not going to last forever. You're not going to be stuck in it. Your head's not going to be stuck in a hole and you're just going to be finished and everything's terrible. That's not how it is, right? And finally, this is the key. This is what we all need to know. There's maha, or maga, which means a path to the end of the cessation of suffering. So it's super important to understand, yeah, there's trouble, there's pain, but we can end this pain. We don't need to be stuck in there. We don't have to be stuck in there. So going back to the hospital, I see a lot of people, they're struggling, they're having a lot of pain, they're having a lot of suffering. But the thing is, there's a place where that suffering can end. Sometimes it might be transition. Maybe it's not time to be in this world forever, and it's time to move on. And that's not a bad thing. A lot of people are like, death is so terrible and bad. No, it's part of life. You know, there's a circle of life. There's birth, there's death, and some say there's rebirth, you know, depending on your methodology. Maybe there's spiritual rebirth as well. You know, there's many different kind of modalities. But being in the hospital, a way I can function is I can be an ambassador of peace ambassador of joy and an ambassador of hope. People need hope in these trying times. We don't want to be stuck just being upset and sad and, you know, stuck in the rut. And I think also we have, it's, you know, it's even difficult to get to the hospital several times because there were riots that were going on, and people were, the streets were all backed up, and it was very hard to get in. But the point is, like we saw, these people are going through suffering. But we are here, both the doctor and I are here to promote a message of hope, of peace, of love, compassion, and mercy. That's what we want to present to you. We don't want it to be in a place of hopelessness, a place of nihilism. That's not what we need. So doctor, is there anything you would like to know, or?
I think that was a beautiful explanation of how we can remain hopeful in these times, which can be very different, very intense for us. So thank you for that. I guess if there are any particular experiences or messages that you have, that one was just so powerful, to remain optimistic and hopeful. And speaking of that, by the way, my Positive Thinking e-course is on a quarantine sale. So if you check that out, I have my e-courses on sale because people need them so much during these times when they're home to do some self-study, positive thinking, self-esteem work, all of that kind of thing. So check out my website for that. But meanwhile, Chaplain Issa, is there anything poignant that stands out from your time in the hospital, or messages that you want our viewers to take away besides just, you know, knowing that there's hope and remaining positive? That, of course, is very important.
We, if we go into that modality of being an ambassador of peace, can be extremely transformative. We can be like the crucible in alchemy and transform the lead into gold. So here's my story that I can share, where this person had called for me over and over again, said, I need the chaplain, they must come. I'm suffering. And I got maybe 20 calls, but I had to, you know, as a chaplain, I have to go through the entire hospital. I don't just go to one room and I'm like, okay, I will make it to this place. And this woman was sort of like Atlas from the Herculean myth, where he carries the world on his back. She was a woman who was carrying the world on her back. It was like this series of unfortunate events, one terrible thing, another terrible thing, another terrible thing. But I was like, I'm here with you. I'm present. You don't have to cry. You don't have to cry. You don't have to suffer. I'll suffer with you. I'll bear the pain with you.
Wow.
So we talked for maybe a couple hours.
Wow.
I was present. And it was amazing. It was spectacular. And she said, I'll never forget you. That's what I remembered from the conversation. I'll never forget you. Just in this one time, in one meeting.
Like an angel. That's amazing that you could be there for her. That's beautiful.
And we're talking about what types of things, what teachings can we use in our life that get us out of trauma, get us out of this rut. What can we do?
Right.
So there are a lot of things we can do. To be grateful for all the things that are going in our life. We can have a gratitude journal. Every day, put an entry. If you're feeling I'm not worthy, I'm not good, I'm not bad, put a journal entry and talk about gratitude, and also to have worthiness in there. Have like a worthiness empowerment statement saying, what did I do today? How was I successful today? So have a successful entry, have a gratitude entry. Do this every single day, and then read it. Do it throughout the week. Then at the end of the week, take that journal out and read your entries, and you'll be like, wow, I have so much to be grateful for. I am so empowered. I am not worthless. I am not nothing. I'm not bad. This is powerful. This is an important tool that you need to implement in your life if you're feeling these ways. Next, you need to be able to savor all the good things that are going on. Because sometimes we just focus on negativity. We're just focusing on, this is bad, that is bad, everything's terrible, everything's horrible. Why don't we savor the good things that happen? So you say, wow, I woke up this morning and I'm breathing and I'm mobile and I'm functional, even if we have just those things, like these things that, a lot of us are born with, just being able to say, I am grateful that I'm able to have this. And even if you don't have that, there's something else you could be grateful. There's always something, even if you have just one hand and you're walking on that one hand but you're still able to breathe, there's always another thing you can say, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for this. Even if it looks like it's so terrible, if you focus on positivity and focus on goodness, no matter how terrible and bad it appears to be, it can be good. So let's get out of that rut of negativity. This is super important.
Definitely.
And there's something else too. So we talked about gratitude, about savoring things. Another thing you can do too that's very empowering is doing acts of kindness. So just today, I am a part of the Medical Reserve Corps here in Philadelphia. This is not exactly Philadelphia, but a part of, it's kind of in the greater region of Philadelphia. I was going out and giving face shields to people and doing that kind of work, and it's empowering. I said, I'm going to go out and do this work, and people were smiling, people are happy. Doing even like volunteer work around your neighborhood where you can do something for someone else is empowering. You can say, wow, I have the power that I can actually serve others, I can help others. And it makes you feel good, it makes you feel happy and satisfied. So that's something that all of you should think about. How can I do, things that will serve other lives? What can I do? Have that memory.
That is such a great point at times when people are so indulging in their own suffering, that just to shift perspective and to do something altruistic, something kind, even a small smile, just something to someone can actually really uplift your heart, because humans are made in a way that we really do benefit when we participate in a loving way with another human. So thank you for that point. Is that anything else? Let's see. So you've brought a lot of great points, and there are a lot of similar points that I teach, that gratitude, appreciation. If you really indulge in appreciation, if you fill your mind with that, you don't have space for other thoughts of lack or limitation or grief. It's just the brain can only wire certain thoughts at a time, and if you just impress appreciation and gratitude and joy, then that is what you will experience. So I 100% agree with you on that, and I appreciate you for going out and being there in those front lines. And we're still going through it, but to have such angelic souls who are there to lift up the people who are suffering, that it's really good to know that we have people like you. So thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate it, Doctor, and you are doing a great work as well. You are going and transmitting this positive message. What I would like to leave with is self-care is super important. Being grateful is super important. Savoring all the goodness is super important. Being able to give what you can to to any life that you can is super important. Let's be fully present.
Thank you. I love that. I think that is the takeaway message from this time, this global period. We are here to do the inner transformation work so that we can come out in a new space, all of us together, and better for it. So thank you for coming today, and hopefully we'll see you in another episode of Counselors in Cars. So here I have Chaplain Issa Kabeer, and I have Chaplain Issa Kabeer.
It's a pleasure. You can see that we are in a playground and there are kids who are playing, but we are here to talk about the real issues that are going on. So you can see that people are coming out. We are here to bring a message of hope and care and understanding.
Exactly.
Get her books too. They're amazing. And her classes. Get on it right now.
My PR over here is actually correct that there is a link to my e-courses, my classes, my MP3s, my books, my spiritual poetry books. If you have not checked them out, please do. Please like, subscribe, and share this with anyone who could use the message. So have a great evening. Bye.